give it a minute, wait for some people to tune in, and then we are going to get into the podcast. And today we are talking about an attitude shift that needs to happen in a lot of young up and coming athletes. But guys, as you tune in, drop me a message. Let me know how life's going. Let me know how training's going. Let me know how you're doing overall. I like hearing from you guys. I appreciate you all tuning in. Faizan, hey, hello. All right. Wow, 27 people here very, very quickly. So, guys, we're going to get into it right away. Make sure you stick around so that we can do a little bit of Q&A. But we're going to get into a little bit of an attitude shift that needs to happen on the podcast today. So we're going to go in 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Elite Development Podcast, the #1 show for athletes looking to gain an edge on their opponents and build their dream careers in sport. I am your host, Kenny Dusseault, and today we're talking about changing your mentality. Now, the reason we're talking about this is because I've had a couple of experiences over the last couple of weeks in the, on Instagram, talking to some athletes and things like that, and just getting a feel from a few people that they feel very, for lack of a better word, entitled. For lack of a better word, they just, the attitude in the conversation just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm not going to sit here and call anybody out, so don't sit here thinking that, this is going to be me just like reeling into somebody or something like that. But I'm just going to break this down. So I spend a large majority of my day, every single day, working on delivering as much free value as I can on social media to athletes in my gym, to, really anybody, as much as possible. And, I spend thousands upon thousands of dollars every single year learning how to do that better, learning how to deliver on in a better way to more people. And really and truly, the thing that my goal with it is literally to just help athletes improve their abilities, help athletes improve how they condition themselves, how they train for their sport. And one of, obviously my goal is to help athletes with that. And then on the personal side, I want to be great at what I do. I want to be known as one of the best coaches in this industry. I want to be known as one of the people who changed this industry, who helped people actually change the way that they train, change the way that they perform, and overall just change the quality of competition that happens in sport. And in order to do that, I've always been a big believer that I need to lead with effort. I need to lead with, the desire to grow, the desire to learn, the desire to work. So as I've been coming up, and again, when I talk about this, I want to make it very clear, I am still very much coming up. My accounts have grown a lot over the last couple of years. My business has grown a lot over the last couple of years. I'm very grateful for where I'm at, but I'm still very much coming up. I don't consider myself, at the top of the industry in that way at this moment. And on that way up, there are a lot of people that have helped me out a lot. To name a few: Phil Daru taking his mentorship courses, Brett Bartholomew taking his mentorship courses, Jeff LaVecchio, just a lot of really good conversations, learning and developing through the relationship with him, and just so many more. If I'm not naming you, I apologize. But the idea is, when it came to these relationships that, I started building, my goal was to deliver to them as much as possible. Like I remember, I got both Brett Bartholomew and Phil Daru on the podcast, and they both had mentorship courses, and I bought both of those mentorship courses because I was like, okay, these guys have taught me a lot just by their free stuff. I want to invest. I want to learn. I want to learn more. Like, how can I bring some value to you? I can buy the courses that you've put together. Really, my focus was trying to make this a good relationship going both ways. And the reason why that was such a high focus for me is because if I want to have a relationship with someone, guys, this is an important thing for everybody who's here to really understand. If I want to have a relationship with someone, a relationship is an exchange of value. I need to deliver value the same way as someone needs to deliver value to me. And that is how relationships get built. The goal is not this, that you take all the time. The goal is that you deliver while someone delivers to you. And then that makes you happy. That makes them happy. It's a positive relationship for everybody. right? So my goal with these people, with these mentors, was always to deliver. And honestly, it was just understanding my place, understanding that, these guys just like coming out and having conversations with me, like this was beneficial for me. So I was like, man, I don't want to like try to take too much. I want to just really understand that, I'm here to learn. I'm here to ask questions, and I'm here to, see if there's anything that I can do for you in return. Now, before I get into the second part of this podcast, I want to make it very clear. This is not me sitting here saying everybody needs to buy a course. My goal with my social media, like I said, is always just delivering, always just to give you guys information, give you guys new ways to train, and really just putting you in a position where you are in a better place to succeed. Now, this brings me to point number 2. And point number 2 is there is an attitude shift that's needed in the world today. Over the last couple of weeks alone, I've had a few conversations with athletes that this really stuck out. One where, we're talking about the 8-week program that we're running right now. That's going to be dropping on Monday. So shameless plug, if you're here live and you want to learn more about that, DM me the word fight ready and I'll get back to you with more information. But as we were talking about this program, I, gave all the information to the person, and then he basically responded and said, "Can I have a discount?" And so I said, "Okay, why?" Thinking that, he might understand, well, I can do this and like give you some value and you can give me some value. He said, "Well, because I'm broke." I was like, "Okay, like I understand that, like, sorry, but the rate is this. And the reason is because we deliver a lot of value, and like, hey, I got to pay my bills too." Like, not to be an asshole here, but like, I got to pay bills too, guys. And so I sent him, and I tried to make it nice. It was like, we deliver a lot of value and I don't discount that. Plus, it's not fair to the other athletes that are paying the full rate for this program. So, I'm sorry, but no. And then he proceeded to get upset, which I thought was shocking. And within that conversation, the kid told me like, "Oh, well, like, I'm going to be a UFC champion in one day and all of this." And like, guys, I'm going to sidetrack a little bit. When athletes tell me I'm going to be a UFC champion one day, I love that attitude. Like, a lot of people want to shut that kind of thing down. I love that attitude, because every UFC champion today once was that up and coming kid saying, "I'm going to be a UFC champion one day." But what you need to understand is your desire and your drive and that mental thing that you've got isn't it. Because if you walk around all day telling anyone who will listen that you're going to be a UFC champion, you get all the fist bumps and the back slaps, but then you go around and you don't do anything about it, then you're not going to be a UFC champion. You need to actually back that up with putting in the work. But there's a strange attitude shift that I've seen, and I singled that conversation out, but there have been a few others that have been very similar. There's been an attitude shift that I've seen, that athletes somehow think that because they believe in themselves, other people owe them things. I'm going to be a UFC champion one day, so you should give me a big discount on this program that you're running. Guys, that's not how life works, because the fact that you're saying those words doesn't mean anything. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I love the attitude. I wish more athletes would be vocal about that kind of thing. I wish more athletes would come out and say, "I'm going to be a UFC champion one day." But it needs to be backed up with the work. It needs to be backed up with showing that you're willing to go through the things that other people aren't. It needs to be backed up with showing that you're willing to invest in yourself in ways that other people aren't. You need to back up these claims. You can't just walk around spouting them and expecting that to mean something to people. And another conversation, I'm going to fast forward a little bit, but the main point from that one that I really want to make sure I get across is that the words are good and the attitude is good. I like that mentality, but you've got to understand that no matter who you think you are going to become, people don't owe you something because of that. I firmly believe in my heart and soul that one day I will be recognized as one of the best coaches in this industry. And the reason that I believe that is because every single day I'm live on this podcast and I'm trying to deliver as much free value as I can. Every single day I'm on my Instagram accounts trying to deliver as much free value as I can. Every single day I'm working with athletes trying to deliver them as much value as I can. every single day I'm working on myself, trying to improve myself to improve in all of those other areas that I talked about. So the confidence is merited because I do the things that I do every day. I believe in the path that I'm on. And this, again, isn't to try to take a shot at any of these kids that have sent me those DMs, but I also, from that position of feeling more confident in myself, feeling confident in where I'm going and what I'm doing, I also understand that I'm still not worth shit. I can't come up to a brand and be like, I'm going to be a great coach one day, so give me a bunch of free shit. I can work out a deal with a brand if I have a lot of exposure that they don't have. But again, value exchange. I can come to a brand now because I have 34,000 followers on my Instagram account and say, hey, let's work out a deal where I can help your brand gain exposure, and in exchange, you can give me X, Y, and Z. And then we figure out a deal that works both ways. Value exchange. But again, the second conversation that I want to talk about, I had an athlete very recently as well send me a message. And guys, I want to make sure as well, I'm not sitting here trying to tell anybody that they can't send me a message. But if you do, understand a couple of things. Number one, I get hundreds of DMs every single day. And so if a message goes unread or a message gets missed, that's not me trying to be an asshole. That's me running a business during my day. That's me talking to my clients during the day. That's me getting back to other messages during the day. So it's not me trying to be an asshole. It's just that I'm not literally glued to my phone all day answering messages. I've got other things going on too. And so I got a message very recently and basically got a message asking for some free tips. And then I got a message following up being like, hello, with a question mark, and then about 4 or 5 more all in a row, which ended with, bro, you're not going to help me out? I thought you were a coach. What the fuck? I'm so disappointed. All in the span of about 15 minutes. I want to break that down, how crazy that is. In 15 minutes, I got about 7 or 8 messages asking for something free, which is all information that's delivered on my Instagram page as it is. And then following up, hello, why aren't you answering me? And kind of 4 or 5 more like that, with finishing off with, what the fuck? I thought you were a coach. You're not going to help me? And the reason that I wanted to address that here is because, again, I'm not glued to my phone all day answering messages. But second off, just the level of entitlement to that. Give me something free, and then not getting immediate responses to it, and then getting upset. And then when I did get back to this message, I was then, I explained, hey, I'm running a business during the day and I've got other things going on. And the response was, I got called cocky for not getting back quick enough. So asking for something free and then getting upset with the person that doesn't deliver it immediately, and then calling them cocky for not delivering more free stuff fast enough when I'm delivering free stuff every single day as it is. You guys understand? So this is the attitude shift that needs to happen. Athletes need to understand, and I'm going to say this again, but this kind of thing happens. It's not the first time I've gotten messages that kind of rub me the wrong way, and it won't be the last time. But as the athlete yourself, you've got to understand that it's on you to put in some work too. You can't be just trying to find those quick fixes, have someone just drop all the systems and all the information and everything in your lap. The account that I've built up on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, etc., my goal is to give you all the information that you need to be able to put together your own conditioning plans. And I literally get messages from athletes almost on a weekly basis being like, hey, I used all your videos. I put together a conditioning plan. It's been going so well and I feel so much better. But on top of that, with me delivering all the information, the expectation as an athlete is that you're going to go in, you're going to watch the videos, you're going to learn from the videos, and you're going to be able to put together your own plan. Right? But when you go above and beyond and you're trying to say, hey, well, give me more. What do you mean? I've given you everything. It's up to you to put it together. And this is the attitude shift that needs to happen. Because the athletes that are truly going to make it somewhere, the athletes that are going to rise above the pack, the athletes that are going to put themselves in a position to succeed are the ones that take the information, figure something out, and go execute. Now, if I have an athlete send me a message and say, hey, I've been watching a lot of your videos and I learned this, and this, but I'm struggling with like how this works. Now I can come and I have no problem coming in and being like, oh, well, if you tie it together like this, that should really help you out, give you that quick little tip to get you on your way. But when an athlete comes in, basically just being like, yo, give me free shit, and then gets mad if I don't message them back immediately, guys, you've got to understand that's the kind of attitude that's not going to get you anywhere. And I don't mean specifically with me, because I have people ask me for free shit all the time. So, for that, it is what it is. But for yourself, you've got to understand that if that is the mentality you take towards your training, you just expect free shit from people because, you're built different. You're going to be this and you're going to be that. You're not going to get very far. The ones who are going to get further are the ones who are going to take the information and go use it and execute on it. Because you can sit around all day and tell anyone who will listen that you're going to be a UFC champion, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. But if the day-to-day actions don't back it up, you're on a path to disappointment. So my goal with this podcast, I always struggle coming into like this kind of conversation because I don't want to feel like, I'm just sitting around and complaining, because that isn't the goal here. My goal is to shine light on the mentality that needs to be shifted. My goal with this podcast is for you to understand that the ones who rise above the pack, the ones who are going to get further, the ones who are going to improve the most, are the ones who are willing to put the work in themselves. The ones who are willing to do the work, put in the time, put in the effort, and then come with a question based off of the work they've done. The ones who are just after the free tip, the free click, the free shit, and not willing to actually go put any of it into action, and not willing to go find the videos and watch the videos and learn from the videos and try something, are the ones who are going to sit around until it's too late for them to do anything with their career, talking about how much they're going to do with their career. So guys, make sure that you check that mentality, because as I say this as well, I want to reinforce that I don't think this is always conscious. I don't think these people come into these conversations trying to, do this necessarily. I believe these people honestly just feel that in their hearts, speak this way, and then it just obviously doesn't come across well. But if you're putting yourself in that position, you need to be willing to do the work. You need to be willing to put in the time. You need to be willing to do what it takes, and then ask questions along the way based off of the work you're doing. So guys, that is it. That is all. I hope you got some good value from that. If you did, I would love to know what it is. Drop me a message on my social media. The ways to do that will be in the show notes below. As always, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will catch you on the next episode.